All right, guys, so it's that time of year. It is almost Team of the Year season in Hockey Ultimate Team, which is one of probably the second most hype event of the entire year. For anyone that's new to Hockey Ultimate Team, Team of the Year is essentially something that was introduced in NHL 20, where for the calendar year of the prior year, there's one player for each position that is recognized as a Team of the Year player. Now, those cards are obviously super overpowered in terms of synergies and abilities, and this year with the addition of X Factors, I'm sure that they will get some sort of huge X Factor bump and superstar ability as well, on top of having multiple synergy options. Now, the one thing about these cards is that they upgrade with whatever the highest card that player has available to them. There is no cost involved. It is not like X Factors in that sense. So obviously these are some of the best cards in the game. But with the addition of X Factors this year, it does add a new wrinkle, because if you do have one of the players that has a Team of the Year coming, you'll at least know that they will get an upgrade pretty regularly should you invest. Because while the Team of the Year comes out and they do match whatever the highest overall is, whether it be Primetime Team of the Week, a new event card, master item, they usually get a pretty big bump in overall right when they come out as well. So this has pretty big X Factor implications. And after doing some due diligence and looking at some of the numbers, some of them are very easy to predict. But as always, I want you guys to tell me who your thoughts are, as this is one of the more fun events that we're going to get all year long. Guys, if you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to the channel and give the video a like if you do enjoy it. All right, let's get into my predictions for Team of the Year. So again, I just want to do a quick recap of NHL 21's Team of the Year to just show you guys what to expect. So here were last year's winner. We had Leon Draisaitl, Pastrnak, and Artemi Panarin as your center, left wing, and right winger. And obviously, those were all pretty easy selections. I mean, Leon went absolutely ham the prior year, and Pastrnak and Panarin were pretty good as well, obviously, and they had phenomenal cards. You also then had Hedman, Cale Makar, and Andrei Vasilevskiy as your defenseman and goaltender. The one caveat I want to mention is that in NHL 20, they actually had two right-handed defensemen with Brent Burns and John Carlson, so it isn't super determined if it's just one left-handed defenseman, one right-handed defenseman, depending on what they play. But last year it just happened to work out like that. Something to keep in mind as well, guys, is that awards and playoffs do matter. So remember, it is Team of the Year. And the interesting part about this last season is that the COVID year, actually started in January. So there was no first half of the prior season to take into account. It is literally the last 1 year of hockey, and because of the COVID stoppage, we basically have 2 seasons and the playoffs. So this one's a little bit easier to track because, again, you don't have to separate the second half of last year and the first half of this year. You can basically just do the full season, playoffs, and what we've got so far, which makes the predictions a little bit easier. All right, let's start first with the left wing position. And in my opinion, there's really only 2 options here. And we'll start first with Jonathan Huberdeau. So far in last season and the regular season so far that we've had, he's got 92 points in a full 82-game season. That's obviously an incredible performance. He's got 29 goals, 63 assists, and is a plus 19 for the Florida Panthers. Also, last year in 6 playoff games, the one round against the Lightning, he had 10 points in 6 games. So it's not like he was a slouch in the postseason either. So in total, 102 points in the last calendar year in 88 games. An incredible performance there, and he's definitely one of the options for left wing and Team of the Year. And the other option for left wing Team of the Year is Brad Marchand. Now, in 74 total regular season games last year and this year included, he's got 96 points. So he's got 4 more points and 8 less games in the regular season than Jonathan Huberdeau. He also has 40 goals. Like, he is absolutely dynamic offensively, and I feel like a lot of people just kind of forget about that. The postseason as well, he had 11 games last year, 12 points, so it's not like he disappeared in the postseason either. I really don't see how he does not get the left wing Team of the Year unless it's just, complete preference, and that's fine, but it's really going to come down to those two. Panarin was another option, but because he didn't play in the postseason, I just don't see how he would win. And same with Alexander Ovechkin. He had 86 points in 73 games, which is obviously great. It's just quite a bit less because he didn't have a lot in the postseason last year. Didn't have a great run, didn't win any awards, so not sure how he would win, but I think that this one for the left wing is going to come down between Marchand and Huberdeau. I'm going to go with Marchand here, even though I wod love to see Hubert Drain win Team of the Year. All right, on to the right wing predictions for Team of the Year. Really only 3 options here, and I'm not going to lie, I think this one has a pretty clear winner as well. But we'll start with Patrick Kane. In 79 regular season games, he's got 88 points, obviously no playoffs. Been fantastic offensively, only 22 goals, 66 assists, but still a very, very good offensive output here. I think the fact of no playoffs is really going to hurt him in terms of just, his shot at winning it, but he's had a very, very good, last 80 games. Our next potential winner for right wing Team of the Year is going to be Mitch Marner. So in 79 games, he also had 88 points like Patrick Kane. And then obviously he did not have the greatest playoff run with the 7-game loss to the Montreal Canadiens. He did have 4 points in that series, but while that is a phenomenal offensive output, obviously getting over 90 points combined, I still don't think that he is going to challenge for Team of the Year because number 1 is going to be awfully tough to defeat. And my winner for right-wing Team of the Year is Mikko Rantanen. And while his point totals in the regular season are fairly close, he has 93 points in 74 games, so really only 5 more than Marner and Kane. He's done it in 5 less games, 74 games played, 93 points. The thing is, he's got 42 goals, which is just a ton more than Marner and Kane. Obviously, a little bit different players, but nonetheless, he also had a pretty decent playoff run in terms of points. He had 13 in 10 games, whereas Marner obviously only had 4 in 7, and Kane didn't get any. I just don't see how Mikko Rantanen is beaten by either of those guys or anyone else in the right wing position. So this would be a pretty easy one, which again makes his X factor a little interesting because he will get a significant bump. And if you ask any pro player, Mikko Rantanen is one of the best near the end game because he's 6'4". You give him a skating synergy, and this card's going to get awfully interesting. All right, on to the center potential winners for Team of the Year, and there's really only 2, and they're pretty obvious. It's Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. What Leon did is pretty significant. In the last 82 games, they have played 82 exactly last year's full season as well as what's happened so far this season. He's got 129 points in 82 games with 54 goals, 75 assists. That's incredible. Like, those numbers we haven't seen since, like, Joe Thornton put up 126 in his first year with the Sharks. Had to throw that in there. Just an absolutely insane offensive output, and he would be an easy slam dunk winner at center for Team of the Year. He won it last year, but this year, the only issue is that his teammate went absolutely bonkers. Now, while Leon did have 5 points in 4 games in the playoffs, just not enough to separate him, because what Connor did is just simply astounding. So, in my opinion, the easy winner. This is probably one of, if not the second most locked position for Team of the Year. It is going to be Connor. He had 150 points in 82 games. That is insanity in this day and age. He had 49 goals, 101 assists, and in the COVID era, the fact that he hit 100 points last year is nuts. He only had 4 points in the playoffs, but he also won multiple awards, including the Hart Trophy. There's no way that EA does not pick Connor to win the center Team of the Year. This one is an easy lock. No one should overthink it. This is an incredible player. And unfortunately for Leon Draisaitl and even Austin Matthews, who had a great season as well with 97 points in 78 games, there's just no way it isn't Connor McDavid. All right, let's talk about the defensive side of things here. And we're going to start on the right side with Cale Makar. Now, this I thought would be a little bit easier, but when looking into the numbers, it gets awfully interesting. So, Rangers fans, hold on. Cale Makar, in the last 66 games played, he's been out for a little while, so he has 66 games played in the last calendar year in the regular season. He has 69 points and 20 goals, which is amazing for any defenseman. And then in the postseason, he also went off as well. He had 10 points in 10 games. Again, from the back end, that's incredible production. So when you combine both his regular season and his playoff numbers, he's got 79 points in 76 games, which is fantastic, obviously. And a lot of the goals, again, 20 goals from the back end is pretty impressive. This one is going to come down to the wire. Now, the reason why I think that this is a little bit closer is the points and in the much fewer games. Let's take a look at Adam Fox. Now, while Cale Makar does have 79 points in 76 games, if you include the playoffs and regular season, Cale Makar in the last 82 games, there has been 82 games since last year's regular season and what we have now, he's got 76 points in 82 games. So it's not like he is that far behind. He just didn't have a playoff run. But he won the Norris, and that does count. So Well, I thought this was a slam dunk easy one for Adam Fox. I could see where EA might go Cale Makar, but I would still be pretty stunned. And I think that Adam Fox, because of it, I think that because of that Norris win, he is going to win the right-handed defenseman team of the year, which would make his X Factor card pretty interesting. Again, if he gets a skating synergy, we're looking at some nice abilities here. So even though that, you're going to have to pay for the upgrades for the Adam Fox card or anyone that wins team of the year, unlike the actual team of the year cards, they will get bump up in overall quite high. It's like a master item event, so he will go into the 90s, which would make this card pretty good. So just be on the lookout, keep your eye out, because I think that Adam Fox with his Norris win and the fact that he's done enough to hold off Cale Makar, I think he will win the right-handed team of the year defenseman spot. Now the other defenseman spot, this one's fairly easy. He's got 72 points in his last 81 games, which is good for second behind only Adam Fox in regular season play. But it's the fact that in the playoffs, he had 18 points in 23. So when you combine that, I just don't see any way that EA does not take Victor Hedman as the other defenseman. I think it's going to come down to Fox and Makar. And I would be really stunned because of Fox's Norris win. They don't go with Fox in the last calendar year. But this one's very simple. Victor Hedman had an incredible playoff run again and a great regular season so far. So he is going to get a big bump. And what I'm curious to see is, again, once Hedman gets that speed boost, we're laughing because at 6'6", he's so good defensively. At some point, he's going to get a skating synergy, you'd have to think. And that'll make it really interesting because if he even gets 90 speed, let's say, he's at 86 right now. If he gets to 90, the benefits of having someone who's 6'6" at 90 speed is just pretty astronomical, even the cost. Now, he is going to cost a lot to upgrade to get to 90 because he's only at 86 right now. And even if he goes to, let's say, 92, that's only going to be like another 2 speed increase. But I think at that point, he would get a skating synergy, maybe a acceleration one at least. But regardless, this one is going to be a very, very good card once he comes out. But yeah, Victor Hedman's definitely winning the other defenseman spot. All right, and finally, on to goaltenders. This one, again, I think is a pretty easy slam dunk, but we'll take a look at a couple. So, Marc-Andre Fleury, and this is going to heavily rely on last year, obviously. Among starters over the last calendar year, he's got .923 save percentage, which is good for 6th among starters that have at least 25 starts. So, guys like Anthony Stolarz or even Jeremy Swayman, just not a ton of games, even though Swayman has really good save percentage. And then goals against as well, he's got 2.25, which again is great. And among starters, that's about 5th or 6th. So right there, he's got about the 6th best stats. The one thing that's huge, obviously, is the fact that he won the Vezina. And that does add in a lot of like bonus to when you're selecting these Team of the Year cards. They've made that pretty clear. So while that does give him a good boost, his time in Chicago has just been so bad that I think it kind of knocked him out of contention for Team of the Year this year. And then I think, again, the clear winner here is Andrei Vasilevskiy. So in terms of save percentage, he ranks 4th among active starters with over 20 games with .925, which is only marginally better than Marc-Andre Fleury. His goals against, however, is 2.20, which would be 3rd among starters that qualify. And then wins, he's got 45 out of 63 games played in the last calendar year, which obviously wins don't mean an absolute ton because, well, he plays for the Tampa Bay Lightning, so that's obviously just going to help him there. He just won the Stanley Cup, though, and he had an unbelievable playoff run, a .937 save percentage and a 1.9 goals against. I just don't see any way that Vasilevskiy doesn't win goaltender Team of the Year because of that combined playoff run. So if Fleury had even a little bit better, decent start to Chicago, he'd have a shot, but I really don't see how Andrei Vasilevskiy doesn't win it. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for my Team of the Year predictions. We still obviously have about 14 days, 15 days to see if any of those things can change. I don't know if many can, but let me know who you think in some of your predictions, maybe some of the ones I missed or got wrong. I'm excited to see Team of the Year again. It is one of the best events all year long. Guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.